Boy Will here at the Come Up, and I'm actually down in the studio with the good son, my cousin Ryan. We down in his podcast studio, and this is just going to be, this is a really special episode because me and him we're collaborating together. So you'll be able to find it on the Come Up. On either Facebook or YouTube and on the podcast, Make It Make Sense. This gentleman is doing some awesome things. And I'm just excited for him. And I just thought that I would like to highlight him today. We're gonna talk a little bit about his podcast. But the reason why I'm actually here is to interview him on this special episode we have coming up about fatherhood. This gentleman. He's a young man, but he's happily married and he has kids and he's doing a great job. So kind of just want to chop it up with him and get his take on things and, this his perspective as a young father. But without further ado, I'd just like to introduce you to Ryan. What's up, cuz?
What's up, man? You doing all right?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm good. So
happy you have me on here.
Oh man, look, I'm just happy to be here, man. I'm happy that you opened up your studio, and we're definitely gonna make it make sense today, right?
Yeah, we're gonna try.
Absolutely. So first off, a lot of times, when the protocol when you do an interview is to wait until the end and then you make your plug. But I want you to start off with doing that because, like I said, I'm very proud of you and excited about what you're doing. What make it make sense, man. And I just think it's something positive. It's something that we all need in our culture. We need lines of communication. We need ways that that the messages can get out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this tell us a little bit about you and make it make sense.
Well, like you said, I am married, happily married, 2 kids, and 26 years old, man. I think I done found my path in life. I like to have conversations. I like to have debates. I like to have constructive criticism. I just like to talk, and I like to get perspective. So that's why I started the podcast, Make It Make Sense. It was originally just me, just wanted to talk to my friends, or basically anybody in the community, my brothers, my sisters, cousins, anybody really, just to get their perspective on life, day-to-day situations that happen in the media, pop culture, sports, anything. I just like to talk, and I feel like since social media came out, it's like they only give us 140 characters to get out what we want to say.
Right.
And then after that, they don't pay attention to us anymore.
Yeah.
So now I discovered I ain't gonna say I discovered it, but I fell into doing podcasting. I liked it. I was listening to Charlamagne the God one time, and he was just saying he had a podcast, and it's a speaking forum. And you just sit and talk, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I like to do, just sit and talk to anybody about anything, because I'm interested in anything.
Man, yeah, that's awesome. I know one episode you had a police officer on, and I just thought that was great, man, because we have such bad views of police officers,
right?
And I believe that a lot of time is justified, but I'm the person that always say that that not every police officer is bad. And this world without police officers would be a really crazy place. So when I saw you had him on, I thought that was pretty smart, man. And just to be open to talk, like you said, let's break some of these walls down.
Right.
And I just think that this is a good outlet to do it, man.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. You got anything coming up? Any hot shows or anything coming up?
Nah, I just try to do it weekly. I try to put these shows out weekly, and it's just with me and co-host or any special guest. So this is a special one about fathers and kids, so I think this is the next special one.
Yeah, absolutely. I do too, man. Well, so let's get to it, man. Now, what are the first question I want to ask you, man? This is really about good fathers, right?
Right.
So it only makes sense for me to ask you this. What is your definition of a good father?
To me, the definition of a good father is just if your kids can use the tools and the fundamentals that you give them or you pass along to them after you're gone, I think that's the definition of a good father. Like my father passed away 2 years ago, and the things he taught me as a child, and even as I was growing up in my early teens or early 20s, I kept with me after his passing. So I feel like my dad is the best father out there. So
Yeah.
that's my definition.
So pretty much you feel like someone, but he has to absolutely be present, right?
Oh, most definitely. He gotta have some sort of presence. He don't necessarily have to be in the household
Yeah.
with you. I mean, that'd be great. That'd be a bonus and a plus. But I mean, if certain situations happen where he can't be in the household with you, just spending time with your kids is the best gift you can give your kids as give your kids, period. Because I mean, money is good, but time and you teaching them things, that's the best thing. Like I had a discussion with my wife last week, and we was talking about the things that we do for each other or for our kids, and she was just like, well, I buy them this and I buy them that. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I teach them this, I teach them that, because they can take that a long way. You might buy them something materialistic, and it might perish in a week or it might perish in 5 years, but I'm trying to teach them something that they can take on for the rest of their life.
Right,
So,
right. You know, I think that you guys both have some I guess valid points that you're coming from with your talk, because I know I read the book The 5 Love Languages. I don't know if you ever read that, but
I have it. I'm gonna put that in my notes so I can get it.
I actually read the one for kids also, and you know, actually what the 5 love languages is really talking about is finding that person's love language. You know, we all communicate in a certain language, and we all appreciate things from a certain language. Like, you know, yours may be the gift of time. Hers may be the gift of gifts. I mean, often a lot of ladies, you know, those are two popular things that they're high in. You know, time and gifts. You see what I'm saying?
And there's nothing wrong with giving someone a gift.
Right, yeah.
So she gives gifts and she gives time and she gives love and I mean, just a woman's presence in a child's life is I mean, it's second to none. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you know, I'm right along with you. You know, you definitely have to be present. You know, me, I didn't know I don't know my father. You know,
right.
So I grew up.
I mean, you do. You know your father, Jesus Christ.
I know. I'm talking about the fleshly father. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I honestly, as a kid, I didn't feel like I missed out on anything. You know, but as I got older, I really feel like I did. You know what I mean? Because there was certain things that, you know, having a man around, what it did for me. You know, as I got in junior high, I did have a couple good men that was around. That I could look at and point to as men, you know. But I often tell people this all the time, you know what I mean? Because if you don't raise them, you know, if you're not there, somebody's going to be the influence there.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree with that.
Yeah. And I know for me, I didn't know really any really good morally sound role models, you know, men, as far as men, until I got probably in junior high. Everybody I knew was on drugs or selling drugs or doing something, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, you know, for your kids to see see something different growing up, man, I mean, that's everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I commend you, you know what I mean? Because like I said, you're young, you're married, you know what I mean? You're in your kid's life, you're very present. And so I think that's an awesome thing.
But a lot of times we can take that for granted, because like when I'm moving too fast, I might not even appreciate that I am in my kid's life. Like it's second nature to me. I wake up in the morning, I'm always there for my kids. I brush their teeth. I'm getting them dressed every morning. I do that. I send my son up to school and take my daughter to the babysitter. I do that every morning. And sometimes I can take that for granted because I'm not paying attention to it. But then when I sit down and relax and think about it, it's like, man, I really do this. I do this and I do that. And not to say that I'm trying to praise myself, but it's just what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. It is. It is. That's awesome, man. This gentleman that I was talking to at the school the other day, he said that they tried to give him an award for being a good parent, and they wanted to put him in a paper. And he said, nobody have to give me any award for something I'm supposed to do.
Exactly.
You know, and I said, man, you're a good father.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that, like, man, you the best dad. You do this, you do that. I'm like, man, it's my DNA. I don't know anything different. I mean, I have my father there, but I don't know any different. So I just do what I do.
Okay, so the next question is that I have for you, and I try to always ask this specific question, I think that this is important, you know, for others to learn. I mean, as a teachable moment here, I think that this is very important. So the next question is, I know you said that you had your father in your life. I've known you've had your father in your life ever since you were a kid. So you come from a family with two parents. I mean, and that's a blessing in itself, especially in our community, because we have a 70% single parent home rate, you know. And so I just want to know, like, having your dad in your life, you know what I mean? Since this is about fathers and it's coming up on Father's Day, you know, what were the conversations like in your household? You know, what did you talk about? Like, what is something that you really got and you took with you from there?
The word can't. Like, even though we grew up in a religious household, it's just like, man, I wanted to do so many things. Like, growing up in a religious household, but going to a public school where, okay, on Sunday I might be getting a word, and then Monday through Friday or Saturday, I might be out here listening to secular music, or I might be out here trying to party, or I'm trying to do these things of the world. But it's like my dad or my mom would say, well, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. No, you can't do that either because of this. And it's like, man, as a child, I was like, man, I'm missing out on so many things. Like, I couldn't go to Friday night football games at Albion. I couldn't go to lock-ins at the skating rink with my friends. Or I couldn't go into lock-ins or nothing like that. And I'm like, man, I'm not celebrating holidays. Like, you can't do this. Then it taught me, like, value. It taught me that some things you shouldn't or you can't do in life with any situation. Like, the things he told me I couldn't do, I take and apply it to my life now. Like, I might even want to go out to the bar right now or to the club, but I can't. I got a family. I got kids at home. I'm thinking about situations 10 times before, or 10 times through before it even happens. I'm like, okay, what if I go to the bar tonight? Biggest bar night in history, right before Thanksgiving. What if a fight happens? What if this? What if I have to jump in? Or what if this happens? Then I'm going to jail. Then I ain't gonna be able to go to work. Then I'm gonna miss work. Then I'm gonna miss a paycheck. And then I might get fired. Then I think things through. So that's the biggest thing that I learned growing up. I think the word can't.
So, I mean, that's interesting, man. And so, you know, so basically, you know, you took the word can't, that you can't do things, and it actually became a positive thing in your life, because as an adult, you know, I know so many people that still struggle with hanging out all the time, and you know, they're broke, you know what I mean, because they spend all their money at the bar, spend all their money on drinks, you know what I'm saying? So all those things that they instilled in you from the word can't, you took it and used it as a positive.
Yeah, but it's how you look at things. I don't know I ain't gonna say I don't know how I got this mentality. God gave it to me, but I looked at things differently from what other people look at it as. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just because I learned from the word can't doesn't mean somebody might take that and they be like, man, well, I can't do it. They're going to have that kind of spirit, but I didn't have that spirit.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. And so you feel like, as far as you being a father, that's something that you want to instill in your children? Yeah.
I want to say can't, but I also want to explain to them why you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I want them to get the picture, and I want them to listen and learn. Like, okay, Pop said I can't do this, so let me not do it. And even if I'm gone, or even if I'm not there, he had to be forced to make a decision. And I don't want his friends or anybody around him to peer pressure them into doing anything. So I want them to be able to think things through 10 times over and then go. Yeah. So pretty much you're just talking about having a good foundation. Yeah. Being grounded. Yeah. That's awesome. Another thing is we talked about in the first when we first started off, we think how if you don't raise them, somebody else will. You know, society will. You know, I have this thing that I when I talk to my self-talk, when I have these self-talks, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you better indoctrinate yourself, because if you don't indoctrinate yourself, you know,
the media do it for you. You know
Most
what I'm saying?
definitely. Yeah.
The entertainers that do it for you, the schools that do it for you, everybody will do it for you. And one of the things that I see in our culture now is that we have so many young men being raised by the media, by the movies, by the rappers, you know what I'm saying, by the sports players, you know. I mean, what's your take on that? It's a lot going on with that.
I feel like this. Celebrities or people, influencers, all those kind of people, that's great for the people that can think for themselves. Like, it's great to have conversations with people when they already can form their own opinion, or when they already set in their ways, or not even just setting their ways, because you should be able to learn from anything. Like, if I go into something, or if we're talking about something, I should be able to learn from your point of view and be like, okay, I see how you feel. But as a kid, I don't want my kids listening to Beyonce.
Right.
I don't want my daughter listening to Beyonce, or I don't even want my daughter listening to Madonna, just because how the music is. It's a lot of secular music. So I'd rather, when I'm in a car with my kids, I put on Kids Bop while I'm riding down the street sometimes. I mean, I might not do it sometimes, or I might do it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like celebrities or people like that should raise your kids.
Right.
Like I said, my son likes Empire, but he goes to bed at 9 o'clock on Wednesdays, or before 9 o'clock on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Or he don't watch certain shows. I don't have certain channels in my kids' rooms because I know what can be on those channels. Like, I don't even let my kids watch Cartoon Network at nighttime because I know what's on Boondocks, Black Jesus, or even other cartoons where they be cussing.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so pretty much, you know what I mean. You're basically just saying that it's important to have some discrepancy when it comes to raising your kids. You know, they don't feed them everything, right?
Yeah. Or you should be the first one to introduce them to everything. They shouldn't learn everything. They shouldn't learn anything outside the home first. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the first time my son went to school, he already knew his ABCs.
Yeah.
At least he knew A, B, and C.
Yeah.
And 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
They should start at home first. Then, so you can control what they see or what they are, what they can hear out there.
Yeah. You know, I agree. I have a huge problem with the entertainment industry, but not necessarily the entertainment industry, but pretty much parents and stuff like that. You know, working with kids, you know, I see the worst of it. I see the effects, and you know, the thing is this, you know, if someone knocked on your door and you came to the door and said hello, and a man and a woman were there, or even two men, you know what I mean? And they said, hey, you know, we're so-and-so, you know, we're H. He said, he's B. And, you know, say the girl said, I'm O. You know what I mean? And they said, you know, we want to come into your house and, you know, we want to talk about sex. We want to talk about drugs. We want to talk about rape, molestation. And every now and then, you know, we'll take off our clothes and we'll kiss each other, you know. You know, you'll punch one of them dudes in the face, you know what I mean? Or you get out of my face with that stuff, you know what I mean? But as a person, you know what I mean, you know, these parents can see it, but when you look at it as a HBO box or Fox with Empire, you know what I mean, it's like you don't see it. And I think that's one of the biggest ways the enemy and this whoever is over all of these things has crept in, kind of like a Trojan horse. Yeah. And we have these kids that absolutely are out of their minds, copying and regurgitating all of this nonsense, all of this garbage. So, right. So yeah, that's my take on it, and I commend you for not letting your kids, you know, partake.
Yeah, kids should be kids.
Okay, so the next question is that I have for you, and I try to always ask this specific question because I think that this is important, you know, for others to learn. I mean, as a teacher, but involved in his school affairs also.
It's very important because these are the people that's going to teach my son while I'm not there. And I have to make sure that everything is up to my standard, because what the kid learns in school, they're gonna take them. I mean, they're gonna take that and take it for the rest of their life. So I have to be there. I have to be at the parent-teacher conferences. I have to pop up on him sometimes at school,
Right.
just to see how he's communicating with others, and to see how he's being treated, and to see how he's treating the teacher.
Right.
Because, like I said, like, he's there learning while I'm not there.
Right.
So that's a big role. That's a big role to have. And then it gives other kids the opportunity to see what great dads are. Even if they don't have a dad or a male figure around in their household, I might pop up on my son at school one day, and another little kid might want to sit with us because he don't have his dad there.
Right. Yeah.
And he can sit with us, and I'm gonna show him, okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna treat him any differently than I'm gonna treat my son.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's very important.
That's good. Now, we're going to wrap it up with this one right here. We spoke about the fact, the statistic that it's a 70% single parent rate. We didn't talk about this, but I mean, we have something called the school to prison pipeline, where, you know, young black kids are, you know, going straight from school to prison, and it's a cycle continuing over and over.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that, and how do we change that?
Man, that's a tough question right there. The change starts with us. Like I mentioned Charlemagne earlier, one of his positive quotes he said, and it sticks with me, and I say this, he said, "Be the change you want to see." So if I don't want to see myself in prison, I'm not going to see my son in prison.
Right.
So I'm not going to do things around my son or around any other person that might be impressionable, that might have an influence on that person in a negative aspect, and then they might do it somewhere else and get in trouble for it. Then they get put in the system at 13.
Right.
They might not get out of the system. Like, I know people since adolescence, they was put into the system, and they can't get out of it.
Right. Me too.
From child support to petty crimes to felonies to misdemeanors. Like, you can't get out of this system. Like, I never been to jail.
Right.
I don't want my son to know. I don't want my son to see his father go to jail, or his uncles. I don't want him to see that. I don't want him to see my friends go to jail.
Yeah.
I don't even want him to see the police sirens on.
Right.
I mean, that's honest. I don't, because I don't want him to know that.
Yeah.
I want him to know, okay, when he see the police, they're supposed to be here to protect him, to serve us, not to be here to beat us or mistreat us or to plant evidence, or not to say that our police does this, but I mean, there's cases where this has happened.
Yeah.
I don't want my kids to know that, or I don't even want anyone to know that.
Right.
So, I mean, the way we can stop school to prison, I mean, just be there for your kids, or even other people's kids at that.
Right.
I feel.
Yeah. I agree with that, man. You know, it's this thing, you know, where you know, we know that the system isn't fair, right? I mean, the statistic that, you know, blacks and whites do drugs the same amount, but black people are 3 to 4 more times likely to go to jail for it.
Right.
We know you know, back when the Clintons were in office and Reagan, you know, the high prison sentence rates. You know, we know all of those things, and sometimes I believe that we can get stuck there.
Yeah.
And I've been in that place myself. I don't want to be stuck there. You know, one of the things is this. You know, I know that if I'm not doing any drugs, I mean, it lessens the likeliness that I go to jail for drugs. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I can't say that that's the truth all the time. We've got a cousin that spent 20 years in jail for 26 years in jail for a crime he didn't commit. You know, and we know that those things happen as well. But I think from what I understand you're saying is do all that you can do to avoid the situation. I mean, and yeah, it ain't fair because the other side, you know, they get off easy. You know, they could drive down the street without getting stopped. You know, I remember going to Ohio on some business, and they stopped me. Right. I mean, I'm like, I ain't do anything, but it's just like you fit the description. I know that, right? But you know, the thing about it is I had my Bible right in the car with me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't looking, I looked as suspicious, I guess, because I was black, you know what I mean? But I ain't give them no hassle or none of that, you know what I mean? Yeah, we shouldn't have to live like that. But I mean, the simplest is, you know, shoot, be found doing what's right. And, you know, maybe it won't, maybe it won't happen to you, but on the same hand, you know, maybe it will. And I believe that, you know, we should always stand and stand up against that kind of stuff, you know. Yeah. I don't sweep that under the rug. I'm real serious when it come to that stuff, you know what I mean? But I understand that I need to do what I'm supposed to do, right?
All right. And we still gotta keep this in the back of our head. When they made these laws, we were still enslaved. These laws weren't made for our people. When they say all men are equal, they meant all white men. Right. All women are equal. We were still slaves when they said this.
Yeah, the Declaration.
So we weren't even mentioned. So, I mean, this world, this when we say this system isn't set up for us, it's really not set up for us. These laws haven't changed. So, driving while black is a real thing. I remember buying my first car, getting it, have a paper tag, and getting pulled over because they say I fit the description of a white car and a black male. That can be anybody.
It's sad,
that can be anybody.
It's sad, right?
Just because I'm 19 with a new car, a nice car, they want to stop me to see what I'm doing, just to see my face. So even when they see my face, they might remember it, and then somebody might yell my name, then they might run my name just to see what I'm doing. Then they might still be watching me.
Yeah.
Like these are things I think about.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to think about this as a black male in America.
Where
this country is supposed to be free.
Some people have the notion that it only happened to those who are doing bad, but the thing about it is, I've known you your entire life. I've known, you know, the straight and narrow path that you stayed on, and for you to still have those things happen.
Right.
You know, see, when I was out there in the world, you know what I mean, I was doing what was bad, you know what I'm saying? So I had reason to be paranoid, you know what I mean? But tell me now, you know what I mean? I'm clean, I'm legit, you know what I'm saying? And I still have to be paranoid sometimes. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I mean, that's the world that we live in.
Yeah.
And you know, but I guess that's what we're saying, you know. We will never act like these things don't exist.
Right.
You know, and I believe that we ought to teach our kids, because we don't want our kids to be blindsided by this. You know what I mean? So I believe that we should teach them, but at the same time, we need to teach them to do what's right. You know, and I think you said it beautifully. You know, don't be modeling the wrong things to your children. I think people don't really understand that you're modeling. You see what I'm saying? I see little boys nowadays dancing like Beyonce, and I know that they've been sitting up there watching their young mamas doing that stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Or even holding the camera while she's dancing and putting it up on social media. Like
Exactly.
That's dumb. I don't understand. Why would you sit there and twerk in front of your kid and then let him put it on social media and then you laughing at it? Like, come on, man. We got to do better as a people.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's absolute nonsense, man. Well, look, man, it's been good. You know, we had this good little conversation, man. Let's make it make sense. You know, the come up, you know, join forces together. We're going to be putting both of these out, man. I mean, I'm just excited about it. Got anything else you want to say?
No, man, just tune in to Make It Make Sense. I'm trying to put it out every Thursday.